The other day I made the most delicious sandwich filling and I thought, why not pop that into a baked potato? And it works well for a very simple midweek dinner. The best thing about it is most of the ingredients here you'll already have in your pantry or in your fridge. Now before we get on to this delicious filling, let's get our potatoes in the oven. So you want quite large potatoes. I'm leaving the skins on and I'll just bake 4, but the filling is enough for about 6. And you don't need to add salt, olive oil or anything. These go straight into the oven as is, 180, 200 degrees, and you want to cook them until they're absolutely tender. And I'll show you later on what we're looking for. So these will take about an hour. All right, while they're cooking, we can just make our filling. In fact, you can make this filling a day in advance if you like. In a bowl, 1 large can of tuna. I like to use the tuna that's in spring water, drain off the liquid. This one is great because it's going to be less oily. So we want that lovely flaky consistency of our tuna. And you can use some fresh corn if you like, but I've always got a can of corn kernels in my pantry. So in they go. About 100 grams is what we're after. To this, some kimchi. It's a Korean fermented cabbage. It's got a slight tang to it and it's also a little peppery. So in that goes. Now, we need to make this saucy, so I'm going to add a good amount of whole egg mayonnaise. And to give it some extra zing, some vinegar and some sesame oil, just a splash. And I just want a subtle onion flavour, so I'm going to be using some spring onions. And we just want the white and the light part. And I'll just finely slice it. So I'm going to mix this in, a little bit of salt and pepper, and we'll just pop it to the side until our potatoes are cooked. All right, the spuds are cooked. They took about an hour. Onto our presentation plate. And we're going to cut across in the centre of our potato. So cut one way, and I'm only going 3/4 of the way through because you do want the potato to hold its shape. And then I'm just going to pinch each quarter to expose that delicious flesh. Look how gorgeous these potatoes are, lovely and yellow. And now for our mixture. And you can see that this is quite saucy with all that mayonnaise through it. Absolutely delicious. If you wanted to, you could put a small knob of butter there because, as we know, potatoes do love their butter. And then in with our tuna mixture, pile it in there, stuff it as much as you can. How good does that look? And this is another fun little seasoning that I always have in my pantry. This is Furikake. How good does that look? A really inexpensive meal for lunch or for dinner, and it's all about that yummy tuna filling. I love this. In fact, I love it that much. I have it every couple of weeks. It's delicious, and not just in a baked potato. Like I said, fantastic to add to your next sandwich.